In the heart of Babylon, far from home, a young man stood unshaken. He faced lions, fiery furnaces, and kings who thought themselves gods. Yet his faith in the true God never wavered. This is the story of Daniel, the prophet of dreams, visions, and unshakable courage. The story begins in 605 BC when King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon besieged Jerusalem. Among the captives taken were 4 young men, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. They were chosen to serve in the king's court, trained in Babylonian culture and wisdom. Their Hebrew names were changed: Belteshazzar, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. But though their names were changed, their faith was not. When commanded to eat the king's rich food and drink, Daniel resolved not to defile himself. Instead, he asked for vegetables and water. After 10 days, he and his friends looked healthier than all the others. God honored their faithfulness, giving them wisdom and understanding beyond their peers. Nebuchadnezzar built a golden statue, 90 feet high, and commanded all people to bow before it. But Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego refused. They declared, "We will not serve your gods or worship the golden image you have set up. The God we serve is able to save us, but even if he does not, we will not bow." In fury, the king threw them into a blazing furnace. The fire was so hot it killed the soldiers who cast them in. But inside the fire, they were unharmed, and with them was a 4th figure, like a son of the gods. When they came out, not even the smell of smoke clung to them. Nebuchadnezzar was amazed and declared, "No other god can save in this way." One night Nebuchadnezzar had a troubling dream of a great statue, its head of gold, chest of silver, belly of bronze, legs of iron, and feet of clay. None of the wise men could interpret it, but Daniel prayed, and God revealed the mystery. Daniel explained, "You, O king, are the head of gold. After you will rise other kingdoms, but in the end the God of heaven will set up a kingdom that will never be destroyed." Later the king dreamed of a great tree cut down. Daniel warned that it meant Nebuchadnezzar would lose his sanity until he acknowledged that God rules over all nations. Years later, King Belshazzar, Nebuchadnezzar's successor, held a feast. He drank wine from the sacred vessels taken from God's temple in Jerusalem. Suddenly a mysterious hand appeared and wrote on the wall, "Mene, Mene, Tekel, Parsin." None could read it except Daniel. He declared, "God has numbered the days of your reign and brought it to an end. You have been weighed on the scales and found wanting. Your kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians." That very night, Babylon fell. Under King Darius, Daniel rose to high office. But jealous officials plotted against him. They tricked the king into signing a law that anyone who prayed to any god but the king for 30 days would be thrown into the lion's den. Yet Daniel, as always, prayed 3 times a day to the God of Israel. When he was caught, the king had no choice but to cast him into the den of lions. That night the king could not sleep. At dawn he rushed to the den and cried, "Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God been able to rescue you?" And Daniel replied, "My God sent his angel, and he shut the mouths of the lions. They have not hurt me." Daniel was lifted out unharmed, and his enemies were thrown in instead. Daniel's story did not end with lions or kings. God showed him visions of the future, empires that would rise and fall, and the coming of the Son of Man. He saw thrones set in place, and the Ancient of Days seated in majesty. He saw one like a Son of Man, coming with the clouds of heaven. He was given authority, glory, and sovereign power. His kingdom is everlasting. These visions pointed to Jesus Christ, the Messiah, whose kingdom will never end. Daniel's life is a testimony of faith in exile, courage in the face of death, and trust in God's sovereign plan. He refused to bow to idols. He stood firm in prayer. He spoke truth to kings. And through it all, God honored him. The story of Daniel asks us, will you stay faithful when the world pressures you to compromise? Will you pray when it could cost you everything? Like Daniel, may we live with courage, wisdom, and unshakable trust in the God who rules history.